Hello, welcome to Giving Tuesday. I'm Angela Harris, Vice President of Community Engagement, Programming and Communications with DCTV. Washington, D.C. is home to over 12,000 nonprofit organizations. This represents over a quarter of the district's workforce. D.C. nonprofits give nearly $500 million annually to the district for a variety of services, and that doesn't include the countless hours of volunteer work done in our community. DCTV is committed to meaningful media. That means we proudly give a voice to those who are the least heard, and we speak meaningful dialogue about the important things that impact our community. In 2019, DCTV launched a new grant program for the purpose of helping nonprofit organizations to increase their communications capacity. We developed the grant with the guidance of nonprofit leaders who told us that getting the word out about the work they are doing is amongst the biggest challenges that they face, especially in a hyper-digital world. So we are here today to tell these stories, to make sure that these meaningful messages are seen and heard. Giving Tuesday is an annual event that began in 2012 as a way to spark the holiday giving season. It's celebrated on the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving each year. We hope that today's 24-hour special programming event will inspire you and will give you cause to join these organizations in the great work they are doing every day. So sit back and you'll be introduced to some of DCTV's staff who will serve as the hosts for this one-of-a-kind special event. And happy holidays.
Hi, I'm Alvin Jones, production team leader here at DCTV. Experts say that 1 in 4 adults in Washington struggle with reading, and even more can barely perform basic math. Now, with rates such as these, coupled with the fact that some young people struggle with learning properly in school, the need for addressing educational literacy and life skills training is very much needed. And fortunately, there are nonprofits that are providing important services such as youth development, literacy programs, alternative programs, safety, hope, coping skills, and lots more. And we're about to introduce 9 nonprofit organizations who are going above and beyond to provide those types of services. And over the next few moments, you will be learning about the outstanding work being done by the Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School, 826 DC, Amazon Conservation Association, City Year DC, Many Languages, One Voice, One Sparrow, Capital Village Schools, Make Smart Cool Incorporated, and Asylum Works.
There's a need for an organization that focuses on adult education, especially in the District of Columbia, because we know that over 52,000 individuals in this city do not have a high school credential. At Academy of Hope, our mission is to provide high-quality adult education in a manner that changes lives and improves our community. Our vision for the future really is to transform adult education. We've been at this work for 35 years, and we'd really like to see a different way to do it to help adults achieve their goals quickly and efficiently. When an adult obtains a high school credential and improves their literacy, their economic outcomes are much better. We know that with educational attainment or higher educational attainment, even with just a high school diploma, we see great economic impact.
I thought it was hard.
So what I had thought. $400.
All of the adults who come back to Academy of Hope, or any adult ed provider for that matter, they really did value school. It was life circumstances that kept them from achieving that goal. And we're here to help support them along that journey, no matter how long it takes. The beauty of Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School is that it's free. Adults who are residents of the District of Columbia can sign up on our website or call in, and they don't have to pay anything for our services. For more information about Academy of Hope, please visit us at www.aohdc.org.
Welcome to Impact Moment on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, your host, and today we're talking to LaSester Johnson. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Alvin.
Well, it's good to have you here, and we are social distancing.
Yes.
It's a lovely day, and we're so glad to have you. How important is it for adult education, for adults to make sure that they get their high school diploma and go on and get more education?
It's critically important for adults to get their education because we know that when parents don't have a high school credential, their children are more likely to drop out, and their children are also more likely to spend more time in poverty.
Adults go back to school. They've inspired their children to go to school and get higher educations. Tell us about some of your success stories.
You know, many people say that adults returning to school, it's their second chance, but for many it's a first chance, given some of the life circumstances that they've experienced. The number one reason that parents or the adults that we're serving are coming back to school because they want to be a good role model for their children. And they also want to improve the economic situation for themselves and their families.
It's almost like they're getting the second chance of the American dream.
Yes.
And is that why you guys came up with the name Academy of Hope?
Our founders, Mario Hilfiger and Gail Boss, named it Academy of Hope because what we know is that individuals who don't have a high school credential, it's really difficult for them to achieve the goals that they have for themselves. They want the American dream of a home, a good economic situation. They want to create a future for their children. Many of our students have said they really loved the hope in our name.
Can you describe what it's like for people when they first walk into their door, when they decide that they're going to reach out and ask for hope from the Academy of Hope?
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage for an adult to walk into our doors and to start over, really. For some, it's an accomplishment to walk through the door. And what we try and do is wrap them with lots of support and encouragement so that they can continue on their path towards achieving their high school credential and even workforce skills that we offer at Academy of Hope.
Now, how does being able to have an education, how does that work towards social justice?
And education can change the trajectory of an individual's life. We've had many graduates who came in who never thought that college was an option for them. All they wanted to do was get their high school credential, and they saw that as a win. But we've had a number of adults to go on to post-secondary, earn an associate's degree, advanced certifications, and really become better employed. Some of our parents have told us that when they started school, their child who might have been struggling, who wasn't going, really saw them and said, I'm going to be like you, Mom or Dad, because if you can go back, I can do this too.
How can we help?
If you know someone who needs their high school credential, tell them about Academy of Hope and that it's never too late. We've had graduates who are 70 and older.
So if you know someone who wants to get their education, who's been thinking about it, it's kind of on the cusp, like, I don't know if I should. Well, we're going to provide them hope. The Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School. Thank you very much, LaSester Johnson, the Chief Executive Officer of the Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School.
Yes.
For Impact Moments, I'm Alvin Jones, right here on DCTV.
When I was young, I was plagued by fear and self-pity.
My life was in shambles.
At first, I never drank on the job, but eventually I did.
Removing alcohol wasn't enough. It left me depressed. That's where AA offered a solution.
I remember sitting in the AA meeting and thinking, I finally found a place where I belong.
AA not only keeps me sober, it helps me live a much better life.
If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me.
And for me.
And for me.
I'm Angela, and I'm Vice President of Community Engagement, Programming and Communications at DCTV. I stand against hate and bigotry. Prior to coming to DCTV, my experience included work as a university professor and the chair of the Journalism and Media Studies Department at major universities. One of the most impactful courses that I've taught has been the study of race, gender, and class in the media. The medium of television, like movies, print, radio, and digital, is incredibly powerful. Our social norms are accepted or rejected based on what we see and hear in media. Voices of the powerless are often marginalized, and too often they are silenced. This speaks to the importance of community media. DCTV gives voice to the voiceless. We provide an open platform for all to be heard. We want the voices of Black, brown, yellow, white, LGBTQ, different abilities and religions all to be heard. As an employer, we have a zero tolerance for discrimination and hate. As a leader in business and as a humanitarian, I feel a personal responsibility to bring new ideas and innovation that will create change. That only happens through diversity. Every perspective matters. Inclusion means everyone. Black Lives Matter is not an exclusion of anyone. It's a movement against brutality and hate. This is a time for us to work together towards equality and change. I have a voice, I have a story, and I am DCTV.
Many students in DC are not afforded access to programs that advance their writing proficiency. That's not okay. That's an urgent challenge that we think about daily and we contend with daily.
I did good in my test, passed it. A+.
When young people are in this really significant developmental period of their lives, using something that they are expected to do, but then giving them creative freedom, creative control over how to do it, having that space to explore that themselves, I think is really important.
I'm downstairs, and me coming in 8 to 6.
They pick up so quickly, and once they learn, they want to learn more. Once they're reading, they want to read more.
Mom and Daddy keep trying to teach me about first grade.
Oh my God. Okay.
Our students are authoring their paths forward every time they put the pencil down, every time they step to the keyboard. Their work is joyful, it's hopeful, it's optimistic, it's funny, it's important, it's poignant. And I consider myself lucky to be on a team that gets to advance that work every single day, gets to look toward a future with our students in which the sky is higher and brighter because of the work we're doing here together.
It's so good to be here, Alvin. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. It's a sunny day. I couldn't ask for more right now. Sure. I mean, I gather it's usually not obvious by our name, 826DC, what it is we actually do. So thanks for the opportunity for me to share that with you. We are a writing center and a publishing house based in Columbia Heights here in the district. And we serve students across the entire city of DC. And by serve, I mean we provide opportunities to develop writing skills and to amplify the voices and the stories of young people across the district. We do that both here in our writing lab in Columbia Heights and in partnership with teachers in DCPS and public charter schools all across our city. Yeah, and truly to be able to write well is to engage with the world around you, right? So if reading is an opportunity for us to learn about the world, writing is an opportunity for us to articulate our ideas and engage with that world and maybe even change that world. So it's, it's exciting to be a part of an organization like 826DC that has the great privilege of listening to students across our city as they're writing stories, as they're sharing their perspectives, as they're imagining new worlds. There's a real activeness to being able to write and share with the world in that way. So yeah, we agree. The relationship between reading and writing is so important, and we really are in partnership with teachers to ensure that that writing skill is a core part of the conversation as well. Yeah, well, you won't be surprised to know that the impact on the past 8 months has been really felt by the young people we serve. And for us, we know that students are facing severe learning loss, right? Because it's hard to learn in a virtual setting. It's hard to learn in such upheaval. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, DCPS announced that there's been a 22% drop in kindergarten students meeting their literacy benchmarks, which is a lot. And so there's a real academic crisis that's happening right now. But for us, we also recognize importantly that there's a social and emotional hardship too. There's a real trauma. Imagine being 13 years old and not having the opportunity to just be with your friends. That is difficult. That's developmentally hard. That's emotionally hard. Your sense of belonging is threatened in that way. And so for us, when COVID happened and when we went remote in March, we really did some serious soul searching around how can we be useful to young people and to teachers in this moment. We know that writing is a practice that allows us to cope with what's going on around us and allows us also to escape what's going on around us. And so we saw an opportunity in this moment to develop new curricula, to offer new workshops, to provide publication opportunities to young people that really allowed them to see writing as an escape in this moment and as a coping mechanism in this moment. So yeah, to answer your question, we see it coming out in our students' writing, but we also continue to just see the most imaginative and vivid and bright evidence of writing and learning that we did beforehand too. So it's just buoying to know that young people continue to be imaginative and hopeful even in this moment.
Food,
air and water,
shelter.
We all need these 4 bare essentials for a basic standard of living. As COVID-19 continues to blindly uproot our country's everyday life, access to these basic necessities is all but disappearing.
Unfortunately, the stimulus package aid from our government isn't as impartial as the virus, failing to help countless members of our community who need the support most. That's why CASA has created the Solidarity Fund.
We are all navigating our way through this global crisis.
We are in this together.
We are all in this together.
We are all in this together.
Beacon House's programs focus on closing the education achievement gap that exists between students of color in Ward 5 and their white peers. Despite the significant racial and economic inequities our students face, they demonstrate year after year that with our support, they can and will achieve academically.
I got my book published through Beacon House. If it wasn't for Beacon House, then I wouldn't be a published author that I am today. These people have really seen me grow up since I was like 5 years old. It makes me feel like there's always gonna be people who know who I am and who like understand me. To have this as a constant, to have this place as somewhere I can be like, yeah, I know Beacon House, I actually grew up there. I actually am honored to be able to say that because it's a community. You're gonna make friends no matter what, no matter who you are. If you're just open to joining the community will accept you.
Climate change now is the most difficult threat that the world has now because it's changing the entire ecosystem. This is changing the temperature and how the species react. Probably some species could adapt to this change. Some of them, some of us, we won't. Dinosaurs, they couldn't. Each of us have the responsibility to save the world for you and your children.
A lot of times when you hear about conservation and saving biodiversity, saving a frog or saving an insect, they think that it is at the expense of our better, greater development. Well, we're at the point on the planet now where that biodiversity is the key to really saving us as a species. If we don't have the forests, if we don't have the water, if we don't have the oceans that can maintain these species and the vast amount of biodiversity we have on the planet, it won't maintain us. And the loss of species is just an indicator of how the situation on the planet is becoming more difficult for us. We might not feel it now, but it's going to get to a point where we're going to see the impact on us as a species. If you want to learn more about protecting wild places, empowering people, and putting science and technology to work, you can check us out on our website, amazonconservation.org, and learn more about the work that we do.
Are you looking for lower energy rates or renewable energy sources like solar and wind? DC Power Connect can help. District Energy customers can now shop online at dcpowerconnect.com for their energy supplier. DC Power Connect is an online tool that gives DC consumers the power to choose the right energy plan for them. Visit dcpowerconnect.com and find out how you can shop for your energy today. DC Power Connect, your energy, your choice.
Please listen to this message in its entirety. There is currently a motion being filed to suspend all bank accounts and tax returns bearing your name and social security number. To review immediate rights and details and avoid all further proceedings, please contact our firm at 1-844-898, or you may press 1 to be transferred to your case manager immediately.
The city is an organization filled with either recent high school graduates or recent college graduates that want to give back to the communities in which they are placed to serve. And that work takes on many different forms.
There are lots of obstacles in individual kids' lives that can make it really difficult to learn. If you're experiencing homelessness or you're experiencing food insecurity, it's really hard to focus and learn in school.
What do we need to do? Good.
Good work, man.
The core members are placed in classrooms based on their academic skill set, and so we focus on literacy and math performance. We focus on social emotional behaviors. We do lunch clubs, we do check-ins and check-outs, and we also focus on attendance. So our biggest mission is getting our students here every day on time and keeping them engaged in learning.
Nice work.
My first 2 years of teaching, I didn't have a city year. It was just me in the classroom by myself. My third year, I had city year. It opened up so many doors. It allowed for the children to have another adult touch point. It also helped bridge the communication between the parents and myself, and it just builds a great relationship.
When I think about what it's done for me as a person, the professional growth, the personal growth, team management, how I handle conflict, my communication style has improved.
City Year is only possible because of the community that we create around us. Go to our website, get involved, become a core member, become a supporter.
I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for having me. So City Year DC is all about educational equity. We are focused on ensuring that all students in DC get a great education and really eliminating the opportunity gap that exists. And for us, that means focusing primarily on students of color in DC, since that opportunity gap mostly affects them. And we do this by working with really incredible, inspiring young AmeriCorps members who spend a year in service with us, working in DC schools to get the best out of our students in partnership with our schools. That's right. And at City Year DC, we're also really focused on our AmeriCorps member development so that they are really getting what they need to be the next generation of leaders. I think our greatest joys are the breakthrough moments that we have with students and getting to see a young person, whether they're elementary school or middle school, break through, have that aha moment, and get excited about learning. This year has been incredibly challenging, really across the board, but our core members are rising to the occasion. I think some of the challenges that present themselves differently in a virtual learning space are some of what you've heard about: access and students getting access to the technology and having good quality laptops to be able to log in on a regular basis. It's also very different to be a student learning online than it is to be learning in a classroom face-to-face with your teacher and your peers. And so our AmeriCorps members have bridged that gap in a variety of ways and really rose to the challenge that's presenting itself in this virtual world. They figured out how to build some relationships with students online and make sure that they're in their corner and they're supporting the students, even if we're a little bit separated from each other physically. City Year is a large national organization that has been around for a little over 30 years. It was actually founded in Boston in the late 80s by two, at the time, young men who really wanted to figure out how to create a national service model that was young people in service to their communities. And here in DC, we have been proud to serve for 20 years and have benefited the community in a variety of ways. So City Year really originally was about service to our city in many different forms. And for about 12 years, we focused solely on education, as we see education is really the greatest need that most of our cities have. And you can go to www.cityyear.org/DC to find out more about all the different ways to get involved. Thank you, Alvin.
When I was young, I was plagued by fear and self-pity. Drinking made me care less about my insecurities.
My life was in shambles, and I was trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces.
At first, I never drank on the job, but eventually I did.
Removing alcohol wasn't enough. It left me depressed and lonely. That's where AA offered a solution.
The people I met thought like me. For the first time in my life, I felt like I wasn't so crazy.
I remember sitting in the AA meeting and thinking, I finally found a place where I belong.
I never thought I could have made it through those hard times as the happy person I am today.
AA not only keeps me sober, it helps me live a much better life.
I found out I can do this thing, one day at a time. I've never been happier in my life. If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me.
And for me.
And for me.
The most important thing for people to know is that foster youth have experienced multiple forms of trauma which can lead to lifetime impacts. But CASA can help to put them on a path to a more productive and positive future. Court-appointed Special Advocate, CASA of Prince George's County, was founded to address the unmet needs of youth in foster care. We train and supervise volunteers from the community who advocate for the best interest of children. Every child deserves a qualified, caring adult to support them and help them thrive. To change a child's story, visit pgcasa.org.
Welcome to Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and we have a lady who's very strong, a strong woman. She's strong as Still. As a matter of fact, Still is her last name. Milana Still, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great today. Thank you for having me.
Tell us about MLove.
Okay. Many Languages, One Voice helps build power for immigrant and refugee people in D.C. And it's a very vast organization with community members, immigrants, refugee people.
How'd you get started?
I got started an invitation to come in and assist with helping out the organization. It's a great group, the staff, the community, the people that we work with, and I've enjoyed it. I've been with them now for 5 years.
What's your greatest joy working with MLove?
Seeing how building power really impacts communities. I think that the voices that we are able to help support, how they work with their families.
Now, you're the Chief Financial Officer. Yes. How important is finances in any organization for it to survive and to thrive?
I'm there to help support it by making sure that we have funds to support what our programming is, support our great staff, to help with some of our mutual aid programs, and ensure that it's allocated properly.
What is so important that has to happen to keep nonprofits sustainable?
Transparency is key. It is where we are fiduciaries of any funding that we receive, and that we actually do what we say we're going to do. When we ask you to support our organization, you expect to see the results, the fruits of our labor. And so we have a team of people that are really dedicated to what we do, and it resonates with them. Everyone plays a part in it. We were able to raise, through different funders and different individual donors, $140,000 that we were able to go out and disperse to immigrant families and people, vendors, people that are dishwashers, restaurant workers, hospitality workers that aren't supported with any of the stimulus money that's given out, no cash from any of the CARES Act, no unemployment funding, and to be able to see how that works and it really is a success, we were able to really move that around in a really impactful way and in a system that really worked.
Now, if I know your organizations, you got some more things that you want to do. What do you have on the horizon?
So right now we have a youth action team. That's one of our programs. And so with the pandemic, that puts a lot of limits on our programming. So we're trying to ensure that we continue that programming and keep engaging our youth. They're becoming organizers. And we want to make sure that we continue that program with the limitations of social distancing. We have a Birth to 3 program that works with child care workers to be able to provide that and also to sustain them with a true income. We have so many programs that we're working on, and to see those grow and flourish over the next year, I think that's what I'm excited about.
Well, good. How can people help you?
So first, I would love for people to visit our website, M as in Mary, L as in Larry, O as in Octopus, V as in Victor, D as in District, C as in Columbia.org.
We just talked with Milana Steele, who is with, of course, M Love. This has been another Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones. Thank you so much for watching. And Milana, thank you so much for coming on
Thank you for having me.
Los residentes de Washington están siendo amenazados por estafas de utilidad todos los días. Las empresas de servicios utilidades no desconectar servicios sin previo aviso por pago atrasado. Si te enfrentas a una situación como esta, llama al número que está en la factura para verificar y póngase en contacto con la Comisión de Servicio Público o la policía para denunciar a los estafadores. Luchar contra las estafas de servicios públicos, el poder es tuyo.
Asylum seekers flee their home country suddenly and will arrive in the United States seeking safety from persecution. They will live in legal limbo for many years with few resources of their own. Asylum seekers are a diverse group of people. This legal status transcends country of origin, age, race, religion, and class. Despite these many differences, asylum seekers are united by their belief in the United States as a country that values safety and freedom. Asylum Works provides holistic services and support proven to help asylum seekers regain confidence and control over their futures. For this reason, Asylum Works clients are dramatically more likely to win their asylum case. Asylum Works strengthens communities by empowering asylum seekers to rebuild their lives with dignity and purpose. Visit asylumworks.org to get involved.
Welcome to Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and we are social distancing. Today, we have the leader of One Sparrow, Solitaire Carol. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am so good. With COVID-19 and with all the things that have been going on, your organization addresses a lot of needs that people have. Let's talk about that.
We started about 6 years ago with me and my husband, and we're focused on sustainable economic development in our communities. So what that looks like is we do capacity building within communities, whether that's financial education workshops, it's college prep courses, or even it's down to things like agriculture programs to teach young people how to farm and how to make food for themselves. We kind of do all of that because we're really focused on a holistic view of how you really uplift impoverished communities.
You're empowering them so that they can learn how to take care of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the core elements of our mission is if we're doing our job right, they shouldn't need us after a few years. That's really our goal. We want to put ourselves out of business because I think that when you have communities that are empowered and able to take root and do things for themselves, you see a generation of people that are able to come up that are able to really do some incredible things to change their local community.
I like that. Why don't you share with us some of your success stories?
Yeah, so right now, in particular, I'm really proud of our agriculture program. Our program works with students ages 6 all the way up through 18 on a weekly basis. We've created the curriculum ourselves, which is actually something that's been really great. And we've been working with the kids for about a year and a half now. And over the last year and a half, they have learned to create plants. They can do seedlings. They know how to take care of their plants. They make all natural herbicide and pesticides. They do composting. They've even dabbled in sustainable fuel sources with natural methane gas production. But the thing that I think is the most impactful is in a time of pandemic, social unrest, even political unrest, our program is the most stable thing that they have, because they can come to our farm every single week, and it does not matter what's going on with school, what's going on in the politics, what's going on at home.
So basically what you're saying is you sustain their sanity.
Yeah, and their spirit too, because, you know, especially here in the DC area, we're seeing the effects of children not able to go to school and how that really offsets your entire environment.
What are some of the things that have surprised you?
One of the things that's been surprising is the in-between of being brand new and not being big yet. I think that's why I was really happy with this opportunity with DCTV. Is it's very hard to be not the new kid on the street, but also not one of the big kids, because it's hard to get your message out there. And it's hard to fight things like, you know, care fatigue or volunteer fatigue. So being able to have new opportunities to reach new markets and new people that might be interested is really invaluable.
This is why we do Impact Moment, because of folks like Solitaire, her husband, and the great things that One Sparrow does. So for Impact Moment, I'm Alvin Jones. Thank you for watching right here on DCTV.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
So I was thinking that we could even do like peppers and carrots for them, that they could sell it like bundled with hummus.
Community Foodworks is working to address food insecurity. For individuals or families that are using SNAP, it means that if you come to our markets, you're able to access a dollar for dollar match. So if you decide to take $10 off of your SNAP card, you'll have those $10 to spend, and then an additional $10 through a Finney grant.
I think we get more fruits and vegetables for our bucks, and the products are good. I think it's better than the grocery store.
Yeah, and it is important because we don't have that much around here. We do need things like this for the community, the elders, the children, everybody.
On Giving Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, DCTV will shine a spotlight on the impact that nonprofit organizations are having in our community. We invite you to tune in for a special 24 hours of continuous programming, highlighting Washington, D.C.'s nonprofit community and the organizations that are making a difference in our community. Tune in morning, noon, and night to be inspired and to witness meaningful media. DCTV is where meaningful media is making an impact.
welcome to Impact Moment once again right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and I have the pleasure of being with Monica Green with the Capital Village Public Charter School.
Great.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Let's talk about the impact in this moment of public charter schools.
Well, public charter schools are like labs for teachers and students and also for school leaders. So it's a place where we can utilize the most innovative educational methods, and we can break from what is traditional and try things that are different and new. So for me as a teacher, I taught middle school for 16 years. And I always felt that it was a little bit difficult to reach students who were maybe a little bit behind other students, or students who were like farther along. And so with the traditional setting, it was just difficult to do my own thing as a teacher. So as a middle school teacher, for me, that was something that I wanted to break free from. So as a school leader in a charter school, we can create our own curriculum. We can try different pacing methods, and for us, we can allow students to take more ownership in their learning, and so that's what public charter schools are really great for.
Now, are all charter schools coming up with the same outcomes, or are there different outcomes in different locations, especially here in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, right, charter schools definitely have different levels of quality, right? And so one of the things that's amazing about being in D.C. is that we have a governance board, the D.C. Public Charter School Board, that really holds schools to high standards. So they give us the autonomy to try different methods, but we have a limited amount of time to show results. So if we don't show results, if we don't have our students reading and writing and doing math at a college preparatory level, then they'll close you.
What is some things that people probably don't know about charter schools and what they should know?
Yeah, that's a great question too, because I think a lot of folks really think that charter schools are in competition with public schools. They're all public schools. So we all receive the same amount of funding as other schools, other public schools, and we also, we have the same level of needs as other public schools.
Someone's thinking about placing their child in a charter school. What are some of the things they should know?
It's the same as a public school. In DC particularly, a lot of schools you can apply to, through the My School DC lottery.
I really appreciate that information, because I think a lot of folks believe that with a charter school, you choose who comes there.
A public charter school takes every student that applies, and it's only at the point where there's more students than slots that there's even a lottery.
Monica Green with Capital Village Public Charter School, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We've had a great time talking with her while we're socially distancing. So we're at least 6 feet away, but it all works out well. So for Impact Moment right here on DCTV, I'm Alvin Jones, and always thank you for watching.
Texting is a great way to communicate, even for scammers. And it's pretty simple for them to steal your identity. If any bill collector contacts you, making demands or offering refunds by text message, wait. Don't share any of your personal information, such as account or social security numbers. Hang up and call the provider back with the number on your monthly bill to confirm any charges. Contact the Public Service Commission or the police to report scammers. Fight utility scams. The power is yours.
Since 1970, SUM has provided support for the Washington, D.C. community during difficult times, and will continue to provide that support during the COVID-19 crisis. The wealth disparity in the district is growing rapidly, especially during a global pandemic that's affected so many Washingtonians. There are so many people who need help. People have lost their jobs and their income and are at risk of losing their housing and access to health care. So this is where SUM comes in. Many people know us as a soup kitchen, but we're so much more than that. Our comprehensive programs are designed to help vulnerable people find pathways out of poverty and achieve long-term stability. Whether someone needs one-time support, like a bag of groceries, or long-time help, like affordable housing, SUM is here. To receive assistance or to support SUM, visit sum.org.
Welcome to Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones, and I have a confession. I was always a nerd, a smart kid, but I learned how to be cool. And the gentleman here, he knows about that. Make smart cool head, Anthony Tillman. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
Man, I am happy to have you here because we can finally let the world know that it's cool to be smart.
Yes, and being smart is the coolest thing that you can be. And that is actually our slogan, because education matters. And you know, we talk about so many things that impact our lives, and you know, education is definitely something that takes you for a long time. You can never get back your education that you earned.
And nobody can take it from you.
Nobody can take it from you. It can take away a lot of things, but education sticks with you for your whole life.
Now, I have some confessions, since it's you and me right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was always smart as a kid, but I realized in relationships and neighborhoods and with your folks and friends, you know, you're the nerd. I was like the first Sheldon Cooper, if you know what I mean. But I realized you had to figure a way to make smart cool. So a lot of people know me from doing Quiet Storm and working with BET and even doing Impact Moments, but I was that cool kid that was smart. And I'm so glad that you have put this together, because it gives other smart, cool kids a chance to just be themselves.
I mean, I was actually the opposite of you. So when I was in elementary and middle school, I was that kid that just wanted to be cool and be funny. So I thought, you know, I thought it wasn't really cool to be smart. So it kind of just, I was just like trying to fit in. I didn't really want to stand out. I wanted to fit in.
So what you're saying is by being cool, you could fit in, but to be smart made you almost like an outcast. But now you're realizing, now here's what I like, because you and I, together we got a good coalition. Because I'm saying to all the smart kids you can be cool, and you're saying to all the cool kids you can be smart, and it means everybody wins.
Yep, I'm saying that everyone can be smart, and you don't have to really think about how you're going to fit in. Just be yourself, and that itself is being smart. You know, common sense is something that you can teach, you can adapt to, you know, and being smart is always cool if you just, you know, act the way that you want to act and be who you are, not what people want you to be.
I like that. Be who you are and not who people want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of the ideas of the programs you guys have.
So Make Smart Cool, this is actually our 7th year. We started as a movement, actually. We started Make Smart Cool. It was actually the t-shirts. So it was kind of like a movement going on. We said, hey, make smart cool, hashtag make smart cool. And so we identified several different programs throughout the DMV. One of our biggest programs is called Boys Read. So it's a reading program that we do with the library system, and we kind of just go there and just mentor youth on this kind of reading and literacy. So every Monday at the library, we would come there and just meet with like maybe 15 or 20 boys and just like, you know, mentor them about reading, read a book, and help them mentor each other and reading out loud and you know, teaching them about mentorship helps them grow as a human being and as a person. So they eventually become leaders and grow. And that's been going on for about 5 years. Right now, you know, with COVID, we kind of held back online, so we do it virtually, but it's actually a lot better because now they're holding each other accountable to, you know, getting online. Hey, they call me like, hey, you coming? Like, you going to log on? I'm like, I guess, yeah, I can. So, you know, and then our second program is also called Chess Literacy. Not sure if are you a chess guy?
I'd like to say I am, but my computer thinks I'm not because it beats me all the time.
I mean, well, hey, the computer going to beat you if you're at a level, you know. So our second program is called Chess Literacy. So we use chess to teach you the ability to learn and adapt. So, you know, with being chess is about chess is about, you know, structure. It's about organization. It's about movements. It's about thinking. So we use that to kind of motivate our kids to think fast and remember things that's happening, because every piece has a position and every person has a position in this world. So the kind of chess kind of correlates with each other to teach literacy, teach math, and then teach them to think quick.
I like that. Now, the t-shirt you have has a history with it, and share that with us.
Well, pretty much, like I said, when we first started, it was actually the T-shirts. But, the movement it moved on from the T-shirts to just a hashtag. So, make smart cool is the movement, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of shows people that, being smart is cool. And like I said, our slogan is being smart is the coolest thing that you can be. So that's pretty much how our T-shirt goes. And the way when I created it, I wanted my hashtag to be in there because I wanted people to know, like, hey, this is about identity. It's about, telling everyone that you're cool and that you are different from other people.
So for all the smart and cool people, or the people who are smart who want to be cool, or the people who are cool who want to be smart, how can they find you?
Well, very simple. Our website is actually makesmart.cool because we too cool for .com. So that's how we do it. So we stand out in everything. So www.makesmart.cool is our website, and this hashtag #MakeSmartCool. And like I said, if you want to join the movement, just reach out to us and let's help each other grow. Because like I said, being smart is the coolest thing that you can be.
And we're standing out here in the sun. It's hotter than July, but we're cool because we're smart, and we've made it smart. Be so cool. Anthony Tillman, thanks for coming on Impact Moment.
Thanks for having me.
And it's so cool for you to watch Impact Moment because we make you smart with information. For Impact Moment, right here on DCTV, I'm Alvin Jones, and I'm smart, and I'm cool.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
260C amplifies the voices of DC youth through imaginative and effective writing education. Our storefront is Tivoli's Astounding Magic Supply Company, Deluxe Haberdashery and Illusionarium. It allows our students a space to enter that feels distinct from anywhere else that they would be learning. It feels different from home, it feels different from school, but it is a place where true learning happens, and they are members of this space.
I did good on my test, passed it. Next thing you know, A+.
Our students are authoring their paths forward every time they put the pencil down, every time they step to the keyboard. And I consider myself lucky to be on a team that gets to advance that work here in DC every single day.
What drove me to get involved with Asylum Works, especially as a board member, was just how it is so unique in its role in the immigrant community and in helping those seeking asylum. On a more personal level, I am an immigrant. My family immigrated here in the 90s. If my family had had an organization like Asylum Works to just hold our hands, welcome us to this country, I truly believe that we would have had an easier time assimilating to this country. And that's even with our much easier path than asylum seekers who are quite literally leaving their lives behind, all of their belongings, their family and their community to come to this country because they're fleeing persecution. So that's really the core of Asylum Works, and they're really one of the only organizations that does focus on that and makes people feel included who historically have been excluded to stay in this country and feel like it's their home.
At Asylum Works, I have enough supports that help me to my job. I know if I need something or I have a question about a client, it doesn't matter who is, it can be someone who works in the same program as me or not. I can reach out to anyone and ask a question, and together we come with a solution to help the clients. And that is very helpful to me because it's Because of that, I'm able also to provide good service to my clients because my mental health is stable. I'm not stressed, I'm not worried because I know I have enough support from my coworker and even for my supervisor and everyone in the team.
Visit asylumworks.org to get involved.
Hey, it's Alvin Jones right here on DCTV, and it is time for another Impact Moment. And we are socially distancing. We have the lovely Washington, D.C. skyline. It's a beautiful day, and we got some good information for you. We have with us today Joan Hodges-Wu. She is the CEO, Executive Director, the person who makes sure that Asylum Works works. How you doing, Joan?
I'm great, Alvin. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming on Impact Moment. Let's talk about the work of Asylum Works and what you guys do and why it's so important.
Sure, I'd be happy to tell you about Asylum Works. Well, our organization is based on a very simple premise, and that is while immigration legal services are essential to a successful asylum case, they are rarely sufficient. Most of the clients that we work with arrive to the United States with little more than the clothing on their back. And as a result, they have very real needs that extend beyond the legal realm. Unfortunately, their legal status makes them ineligible to access many of those mainstream services that people would look to in terms of getting assistance for housing or employment or even food. And that's where Asylum Works comes in. Our job is to help clients address some of those unmet needs that prevent them from participating in the legal process. Today, Asylum Works provides holistic services and support to asylum seekers and their families to complement the work of immigration legal providers. We have found that when client needs are addressed across the spectrum, their likelihood of being granted asylum is dramatically improved. And to this point, in 2019, 100% of our clients whose legal cases reached a final conclusion were granted asylum. The national average is less than 40%. This is how we know we can make asylum work.
So tell me, how many asylum seekers are there approximately right now in the Washington, D.C. area?
That's a great question. Well, Washington, D.C. is an international city by design, so we have a large immigrant community here. We estimate there are 50,000 asylum seekers living in the D.C. metro region.
There it is. With your help, we can make Asylum Works. Joan Hodges-Wu, thank you for coming on Impact Moment.
My pleasure, Alvin.
My pleasure also. This has been another episode of Impact Moment right here on DCTV. I'm Alvin Jones. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm Jackie, the Master Control Coordinator at DCTV. In addition to my work at DCTV, I'm also an attorney, which is the career I had before coming to DCTV. In the words of Congressman Alcee Hastings, all lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. The framers of the Constitution did not intend to include people of African descent, indigenous people of this land, and women as citizens of the United States of America. Over time, the Constitution was amended, treaties were formed, and laws were adopted to address this exclusion. Unfortunately, hatred and bigotry still pervades in every aspect of American life. The recent uprising of citizens of elevated consciousness of every race, sex, religion, socioeconomic, and educational backgrounds was triggered by the continuous killing of Black people by police. The issue of police brutality against Black people is not a new one. What is different today is that ordinary people are now equipped with the technology to become citizen journalists and record what is going on at the hands of the police. The world is able to see the disparity and brutality firsthand. And we are seeing that this is a global pandemic, no different than COVID-19. Black people are being killed disproportionately and unnecessarily at the hands of the police. I came to DCTV over 20 years ago because this is an organization that gives the community and me the opportunity to exercise our First Amendment right to free speech. The same passion that I have for justice inspires me to do the work that I do at DCTV. I have a voice, I have a story. I am DCTV.
The mission of ServiceSource is to support individuals who have disabilities in really all walks of their lives. We provide a variety of employment supports. One area is our job placement supports, where we help individuals get jobs with third-party community employers. We want to be there to really help mentor and help the individual navigate so that they can thrive in their work.
It feels good to be employed, just being able to come into work, and it gives me a sense of independence and autonomy. ServiceSource has helped me a lot with learning job skills and being able to have the asset of a job coach going into a job, so I'm not just going into a job without any support.
ServiceSource has changed my life. It's just given me fulfillment, enjoyment. It's an excellent opportunity for people with disabilities because there's not that many programs out there. So when you find one, you want to support it, and you will want your child or whoever you support to come out here. It's a great opportunity. I'm glad that I found it.
We encourage folks to get to know the people that we are here to support, because in many avenues, whether it's in work, whether it's in recreation, our folks can contribute a lot into the community, and we really want to build those partnerships and encourage that because it becomes a win-win for all of us.
Hi, I'm Alvin Jones, native Washingtonian and president of AJ Productions, and also the managing partner of the Alvin Jones Communications Group. You may know me from my work at Black Entertainment Television as the Unseen VJ, News Channel 8, Planet Vehicle, Planet Jazz, The Quiet Storm on WHUR, Sirius XM, and C-SPAN. But what you may not know is that I got my start in media communications right here at DCTV as a member. DCTV has been serving the DC community for more than 3 decades by preparing members throughout this region for careers in media, whether it be in front of or behind the camera. And also the education training program is comprehensive, and you can even gain access to the equipment and the resources that a creative person needs to bring a vision to a production reality. So that's my DCTV story. DCTV is meaningful media making an impact.
Hi, I'm Julia Reardon, Grants Manager and Associate Producer at DCTV. Thank you for joining us on this special day of programming as we pay tribute to the amazing and critical work that nonprofit organizations are doing to make an impact in our community each and every day. The DCTV Grant Program was established in 2019 to help nonprofit organizations to learn marketing communications best practices and to provide digital media assets to help them in telling their story. Each grant cycle is 1 year-long program. We launched our first cycle in August of 2019, and amid the global pandemic, we welcomed a second cycle of grantees that we are thrilled to formally announce here. These are the recipients of the second cohort group of grantees who joined us earlier this year. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we're pushing forward and helping grantees now more than ever to find innovative ways to make impact during these times. So, congratulations to our second cohort grant award recipients. We invite all nonprofit organizations who serve the Washington, D.C. community to apply for the DCTV Nonprofit Capacity Building Grant. We award grants twice a year, in January and in July. If your organization is interested in applying for a DCTV Nonprofit Capacity Building Grant, please visit us online at dctv.org/grants to find out more about the program and how to apply. You can always sign up to attend one of our info sessions to get an in-depth overview of all this grant has to offer. Let us help your organization to tell quality stories about the important work that you do to make a positive impact in our community. We look forward to working with you.